let those notifications go out. Here we are. Yeah, I know what the day is, and I don't care. We got to talk about this. Let's just chat. I noticed it today, and I appreciate the gesture, or gesture, if you will. And I get the common courtesy behind it, but it made me realize why, as part of the game of narcissism, why the narcissist take everything so personally, and that if it's not about them, they'll find a way to make it about them. And so you think about the matrix and the social influence, and then all of the things out here that are promoting personalization of things. And I was like, wow. I mean, that just opens up a whole new perspective as to the game of narcissism and how it promotes taking things personal in a very subtle way, and then subliminal messages. And I find it to be very intriguing. And I went to my storage unit, and whenever I punch in my code, it always said, "Welcome, Michelle." It has my name. And so while those notifications are going out, let me get the formalities out of the way. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. That's exactly what we're doing here in the ministry, in our growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. So let's dive into it. Oh, for those who may be new, I am Michelle Dickey, a master consultant coach, trauma specialist, minister, and author. I'm helping survivors overcome the trauma from narcissistic abuse. That's right, with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more. Not just with this video content on the YouTube channel here, but on our Patreon channel, at the Academy. All those links are in the video description below. I highly encourage y'all to check it out. And then CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, every Wednesday, every Wednesday a new episode gets uploaded, and we do our best to make sure we get one up on Saturdays too. If we don't get a Saturday one up, there's a Wednesday one up. And so you can find your preferred podcast platform for CHA's Truth Seeker pre-recorded podcast right on the website. cdhrwdrmd.org. In the navigation drop-down menu, you will find CHA's Truth Seeker podcast. And on that page, you'll find Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast. All right, so again, while those are going out, I'm going to go ahead and do our usual sound check. Like I said, I know what today is, and that's fine. That's fine. Let everybody else be distracted. I said I'm going to get up here, and I'm going to go ahead, and we're going to go live with this, because it's very important to understand that as part of the game of narcissism, they want people to take everything personally when it's not personal. Yeah, that's what happened to a lot of us when we didn't know anything else, and before God awakened us, there were some things that we did. I know I did. We all did to an extent, especially when we were younger. Now, we outgrew a lot of it, and glory be to God. And we learned that we stop caring what other people think, and when we do that, then, then it doesn't matter. We know what they think doesn't matter. We stop caring. Okay, there you go. And I've got the chat up for y'all. There you go. And the matrix and the narcissist, they want you to take everything personal. And so how this came about is, like I was saying earlier, as I was alluding to, I go to my storage unit and I punch in my code, and it says, welcome, Michelle. Well, it thanks me, and then it has my name. And I was like, okay. And then when you leave, I punch the code in again for the gate to open so I can leave. And again, it says, thank you, Michelle. And I was like, okay, that's great. I appreciate the gesture, okay, common courtesy, what have you. I appreciate that. But it also gave me the sense of, okay, are they trying to be personal here? And I don't think that they are intentionally trying to. I think they're just being, they're doing a polite thing, and that is polite. But if you're not careful, it could be misconstrued as being personal with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what happened to the narcissist, is that they will look at something like that and they will notice it and go, hey, they say my name, and they would let it go to their head. It would stroke their ego. And so it would make them feel like the storage unit place thinks of them as highly as they think of themselves. Imagine that. Okay, and that's what made me think of this topic today. I said, it's one thing that we haven't covered a whole lot. Hello, fellow warriors, welcome. It's one thing we have not covered a whole lot of as to how the narcissists do that. They take everything personal. It's not about them. They find a way to make it about them. So we've talked about that, but we're diving into more of the why here, like the things that we see out here that promote personalization. And so the difference between chosen one and the narcissist is that we come to see that it's not about us. We know that. So when I go to the storage unit and I notice it, I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's protocol, right? Making sure, okay, that's my code. Michelle, that's me. Yeah, okay. And it's nice of them to do that. And a previous storage unit I had did something similar with my name, except it always said access granted to Michelle, something like that. And so I was like, okay, and we typically won't think anything else. We don't think something of it that it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like the narcissist will look at that and they will go, oh, isn't that nice? And they'll think that the storage unit. So this is how a lot of narcissists, right, this is how they make up stuff. Like if somebody happens to remember their name or knows their name, they think, hey, guess what? So-and-so must think highly of me. So yeah. And so they'll brag about that. And it's just, that's how they are. That's how they are. And that's how it happens, because that's the way they perceive anybody that comes across their path, happens to know their name. They already think more highly of themselves than they ought to. Remember that. And so anybody else that comes along and shows just common courtesy or politeness like that, that could be misconstrued as being personal, a narcissist is going to make it personal. Absolutely, 100%. So I wanted to talk about this because it is very much promoted by the Matrix, that personalization of stuff. And, well, okay, and then the being familiar, well, maybe, okay, maybe, but, well, and that's the other thing too, exactly, using our first name as we're on a first name basis, so that kind of personalizes it a little bit. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Chris. That is a very good point. And that's a big way as to how the Matrix promotes that, is by getting people on a first name basis right away, and that personalizes it. Yeah, and that's how we got duped into mixing work and personal life. You see, before we knew about narcissist and narcissism in the workplace and things like that, I know myself, that's a big way that it was done, is that we got on first name basis with everybody, like right away. And so now it's personal. Now we know each other, and so now it's personalized, and that's how they do it, because it's part of the marketing side of narcissism too. Okay. Well, because that's what they do when you, okay, y'all got to pay attention to this when you go in someplace, okay? Let's say you're going into, oh, I don't know, let's say you go into an electronics store and you're looking for something specific. Well, that's not really a good example because they don't. No, you're gonna have to fill out an application, have your credit run. So let's use the car example again. Um, but there are some places out here that will do that. They will get on a first name basis. The salesperson will get on a first name basis with you right away. Yeah, and to lure you in and all of that. Part of the narcissism cycle. So they'll, yeah, to lure you in, to make it personal, get that relationship personalized as quickly as possible. Sound familiar? You know how the narcissist came with love bombing and trauma bonding? Okay, it's part of a trauma bonding process to an entity, if you will. They want you to get trauma bonded to that place so that you will continue to do business with it. That's why they do that. They want to make it they want to make that transaction personal that's not personal. They want to make it personal so that you'll get trauma bonded and come back and do business. I want y'all to keep that in mind, okay? Because there's that trauma bonding process that happens out here all the time. And so you go in to buy a car, the salesperson wants to get on first name basis with you right away. They're trying to personalize it so that you get trauma bonded. Okay, watch out for that. Watch out for that. Okay? That's what they want. And yes, a form of manipulation, absolutely. Okay? And exactly, first name basis when they don't know us at all. And they are very, and that's the thing, narcissists are very sensitive to micro expressions, what they perceive as a particular expression. When that's, yeah, they're not even aware of their own micro expressions. Yeah, and they always get them wrong too. They sure do, they get them wrong every single time. They get their micro expression incorrect when they try to, yeah, what they perceive. That's why I tell y'all, just keep being you. Show up, be you. You got your facial expression, do you. Be who you are. So what if they get it wrong? Because they're going to get it wrong anyway. They always get it wrong about chosen one. Let them, turn it over to God. Let God handle it. Because I'll be like, yeah, exactly. And so they're always doing that because they take it personal when it's not personal at all. That's the thing. They take it personal when it's not personal. Yeah. And the micro expressions that they misinterpret anyway, and they think that it's a personal attack when it's not, because the matrix and all of these subtle ways of personalizing things that aren't personal. And it's just like, oh wow, no wonder. I mean, I'm sure y'all can add some in the comments, even on the replay. You can add some examples there too. And looking for an excuse to take things personally. Of course they are. Of course they are. It's all they know how to do. It's all they know how to do. Yep, it's what they've been conditioned to believe, is that everything's supposed to be about them anyway. And so, okay, see, there you go. There's another way. Good example. Thank you, Chris. So at work, you're told to refer to the customer by their first name. And some of the customers object and are like, okay, well, see, there you go. If you don't want to be called by your first name, when you don't know the person, they're trying to make it personal, you do have that right. So they have that right to say, excuse me, is Mr. or Mrs. Smith to you? Yeah. I mean, they're right to do that. And you know, it's my sympathies, okay, out to all of you who have been trained at your work job, or your work job. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Who have been trained to do that, to refer to customers by their first name without asking if it's okay to do that. It's just part of the personalization in the game of narcissism. They want to personalize everything that's not personal. Just like the Jezebel. I mean, I'll never forget when she's like, you know, being a trauma specialist, she's like, well, everything you do in your ministry, if that's not personal, I'm like, whoa, back off. I told her, I said, no, I said, this ain't personal. I said, this is business. It ain't personal. This is business. And boy, I mean, but she really, I mean, she got offended when I told her this was not personal. She got offended. Imagine that. And so there you go. I mean, that's a classic example of how the narcissists behave when you tell them that it's not personal, it's business. Well, it's business, not personal. And if they think it's personal, you be ready for a backlash like that. Because man, I'll tell you, I'm like, seriously? No, it's not. So, right, because they got to have everything about them. Exactly. And be in order to use the customer's first name, put the agent, and okay, unfair to the agent. That's true. That's true. And then don't forget the other reason why they want everything to be personal, or they take everything personal and make everything personal, because it'll put them in the center of attention, right? Think about it. Think about it. They take it personal when it's not personal, and so that gives them attention. Because when they take it personal, they can create whatever fantasy, sob story that they want to. So really, that makes it easier to come up with a sob story when they can take it personal. Think about it. When they make it personal, they'll take it personally, and that makes it easier for them to make up some sob story so they can be the center of attention and get whatever it is they want. So yeah, I mean, it's really something else. And so that's why I decided that we got to talk about this, because it is everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere inside the matrix. I mean, when I've seen it. Okay, I got another example. Hold on just a second. I got another example. Whenever I order business cards and they have these sayings, obviously, if I'm getting a business card made, I'm going to have my name on it and the name of the ministry, right? Going to have contact information on it, and then a social media site. And so, of course, it's personalized, right? Okay, now the difference, and they even say it right there. It says, personalize your template. Personalize your message. We see it all the time when we're trying to order stuff for the ministry. Personalize this. Personalize your tote bag. Personalize your coffee cup. So it's fine and nice because you're going to do that, but it's about mindset. That's what separates chosen ones from the narcissist. When we do things like that, I'm making up the business cards. I know they're personalized to the ministry, but I'm not taking them personal, because it's not about me. It's about the glory of God. It's about the glory of God. It ain't about me. But business cards is for advertising. There's the mindset. It's for advertising. It's not about me. It's not for me. It's for the ministry. It's for you all. It's to serve the kingdom of God. And so mindset is what matters behind that. So whether or not you're going to perceive it as a personal thing or not. And we never should. I mean, we should not ever take anything personal. No, it's not a voice. At the storage place where they say, welcome, Michelle. No, there's no voice. It's a little screen. It's a little screen. I punch in my code, and across the screen you can read it. It says welcome, Michelle. I mean, it's not a voice. It's just a simple little, like a teleprompter kind of thing. Well, of course they know that's how they set it up. Of course they know my name, because I had to call and reserve it, and I had to pay for it, right? I got to pay for it. I had to create an account. So the unit is in their system, and I am documented as the one who is renting it at this time. So naturally they're going to have my name. And so, like I said, there's nothing wrong with them doing that. I appreciate the politeness, but it just made me think about this topic. It made me think, hey, wait a minute. If I had a different mindset, I could think that that was a personal, like I could think that that was more it is a personal greeting, but I would think of it differently, And I was like, I just never noticed that before, but there's a lot of that out here in the Matrix. Trying to get you on first name basis, like right away. So I want to say that's a red flag. When you are meeting somebody new, and if they want to get on first name basis with you right away, that's gonna make me hesitate. Hold on a second. Like, fellow chosen one, it comes naturally with us. Okay? It comes naturally with us. So we don't mind it amongst each other. But if we're out here and we're testing the spirit by the spirit, meeting new people, if we don't know their name, a lot of times we just strike up conversation, we don't even know their names, and that's okay. But it is what it is. And I've noticed that name tags that people wear in like grocery stores and stuff nowadays, a lot of time you don't see the last name on the name tag anymore, just the first name. I've noticed that. And I think that's another attempt at them trying to personalize things that aren't personal. Yeah, imagine that, right? And so I'm gonna give me a refill here of some water, y'all. We have a excuse me, a little season of some tickling going on in the throat. So had to take a break from the chokers. I discovered something else that the Jezebel case study did as far as indentation, where it left right where there's trapped sweat in the skin in this area here. Because I was trying to figure out why that one thing I was experiencing, why it kept coming back around every so often. And I discovered it right up in here. Yeah. So anytime So, straps, right where the straps are, big indentations right there. Finally found it. I was like, oh, because I was sitting in the mirror doing my makeup, and I happened to look over and I said, oh, look at that. That explains a whole lot right there. So, we are self-caring as far as that goes, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah. When she tightened them bra straps, boy. Yeah. Before pulling me down them stairs, exactly what she was trying to do. Was trying to prolong all the heat up here, because with those indentations there and the bruising that was there, now it's just trapped water in the skin. So that was making it difficult to fill back in because of the straps. Constantly putting pressure on that. And so that was slowing down circulation. It was slowing down the healing process, which at the same time was slowing down the muscle building up in here. So, we taking care of that. It's like, oh man, yeah, okay, yeah. See, that's why I'm saying, whenever the Jezebel case study wants to peep her ugly little head in to see how we're doing just fine. We discover stuff like that, and we learn more about how it's related to, okay, that's why that was doing that. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit more flow going now. Okay, I see where that's connected. Okay, cool. Now we can fully stretch that out. Yeah. So anyhow, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I'm not supposed to discover any of that. Like, my ANS is supposed to still be numbed. It's not. My ANS is very much awake. And I'm very much aware of it. Oh, I'm going to tell y'all something. When you become aware of your autonomic nervous system and how it's responding, because I noticed that every time I would sit down, my leg would start to go a little bit numb. I said, that's not normal. Why is my leg going numb every time I go to sit down? I said, that's not normal. So we got to the bottom of that. No pun intended, but yeah. I said, that's not normal. I can feel it. Oh yeah, I can feel it when I go to the store. I can feel when the extreme cold and frequency is trying to pull at something. I'm like, oh no, you don't. You are not taking my locus of control away again. I'm not letting you do it. Nope. Mind over matter. That's right. I can feel. I'll go in the store and the only reason it's doing that because there's still trapped salt in the skin. There's still salt water trapped in the skin. That's the only thing it has now. And so I walk in and I can feel that part of my body. It's like it's trying to go in that direction towards the frequency. And I'm like, and I yank it on back there. I said, you ain't getting control of that. I got control. I got the locus of control of my butt muscles back. You ain't getting it. No more, devil. That's right. Get behind me, Satan. A rebuke in the name of Jesus. That's how aware we become of our ANS and our muscle. And when I sense the frequencies trying to yank at it, I'm like, oh no, you don't. Go on with your ugly self. That's what I'm talking about right there. Break any negative association. And so now, the more I'm able to do that, the less it's going to, the store, going in the stores and stuff won't keep doing it because it can't. Once my ANS is like, oh, okay, I got this. Because I'm telling it, no, you do not let that frequency try and take control of that muscle anymore. No. No, 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 and no. That's how aware we're becoming of the ANS. It's actually pretty cool, too. Because I'm like sitting here going, we're going to have a lesson today? Oh, yeah. So it's a wonderful thing because that way you are that aware and in tune because 1 Peter 5 verse 8, that's just part of it. God says we got to be sober and vigilant. That's part of it right there because the devil, our adversary, is always, it's always roaming about seeking whom he can devour. And that's one way with the radio frequency. So if I walk in the store and I feel the radio frequency trying to tug at, let's say, my calf muscle, I'm like, oh no, you don't. You ain't getting, no, you are not stealing my locus of control of that muscle again. I said, we ain't going to let it happen. I rebuke in the name of Jesus. Become aware of it. You ain't get back. That way, next time I go, it's not going to do that. Because my ANS is like, oh, I'm on the job. So, there you go. That's that. So, there's a little bit of hey, Eltonio, welcome everybody. That's a little bit of and more right there for you. And so, all right, now, as far as they keep narcs, must be narcs in control of that system. Well, you would think, the narcissists are not really in control of anything, but they are promoting it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're managing the messaging behind taking everything personal and making it personal and personalizing everything. So, yeah, the narcissists are behind that. Absolutely. Got to promote that. They got to keep that going to keep that mind, that entitlement mindset, got to feed that ego. So, yeah, it is. And just let you in and out without a fuss. Okay. Well, I mean, really, it does. It's not a big deal. I'm just using that as an example. I wanted to give you all the backstory as to what prompted the discussion. I'm not complaining about the welcome Michelle at all. I mean, that doesn't bother me. I don't take it personal. But it made me, it basically served as the inspiration for the topic for today's video. And how do you feel about people meeting you for the first time? They're using your first name. Would you prefer something more formal? Well, I will tell you this, okay? I used to not like being called ma'am, but I will take that. I will take that because I appreciate it. There's been some young gentlemen, if you will, okay? Yeah. If I've got my hotel door open or whatever and they happen to run by and being polite, go, hello, ma'am. I'm like, hello, thank you. I don't mind that. That's polite, okay? That is polite. That's respectful. Because of course he didn't know my name anyway. But that's polite and respectful, and I will take that. But if they know my name, well, meeting me for the first time, if we hadn't exchanged names, then there shouldn't be any of that. right? Unless I say, well, what's your name? And then I'll say, well, my name is Michelle. Okay, so now we're kind of like entering an agreement to use the first name. That's fine. I think it depends. It depends on the situation. I'm okay with it, again, like I said, depends on the circumstances. If I'm going in to meet the person who helped me create my car insurance account, we've become acquaintances. So I'm okay with the first name basis. Okay, like I call him by his first name, he calls me by mine. So that's okay. You build a rapport with people you're doing business with. So that's one thing, but we're not taking it personal. Okay, you can tell. And then let's see. I really think now if there's waiters and waitresses that will come up and tell you, I am so and so, I'll be taking care of you. It really, you just kind of have to use that discernment though. It doesn't bother me because I don't take it personally. But if it's a complete stranger, I do prefer the ma'am because I've not talked to you before, so you don't even know my name. You shouldn't know it. I mean, unless you look at the car magnet, then you might know it. Because I got the new magnet that I put up in the community post, so I enlarged the logo so they could see my name better. Yeah, I noticed. I said, wait a minute. I had some people asking, well, where's your name? And I was like, it's on the logo. And so I was like, I need to make that a little bit larger so people can read it. And so that's what we did, okay? But really, so that answers your question there. I honestly, it's like, it's not a big deal. And I really don't put a whole lot of thought behind it. It's just, this is worth discussing because it's so prominent out here with narcissists that take everything personally. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they probably would prefer first name basis all the time. And now I've had some people refer to me as Miss Dicky, and that's fine too. Honestly, because I don't have the entitlement mindset. So I think, share it in the comments below, y'all. How do you feel about that? I mean, as long as we're not taking it personally or making it personal, then it shouldn't be a big deal if they know our first name and call us by our first name. It shouldn't feel personal. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're no longer walking after the flesh. We're walking after the spirit. So it doesn't even trigger me. It used to trigger me whenever I would hear somebody say something and then say my name at the end. It used to rub me wrong. Now I just don't care. They're like, thank you, Michelle. Okay. Or good morning, Michelle. Okay. It used to, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I guess because I was under the belief that to be more grammatically correct, a person's name should be in the beginning. Like, hey, Michelle, good morning. Something like that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, it depends on the situation. So, okay. And so you don't like strangers using your first name. I can relate. I mean, I'm a little like that myself, but so that's why I said if they don't know who I am, they're a stranger and they call me ma'am, that's fine. I'll take that. And I've been in stores many times and asked a question and a yes or no question, and they'll say yes, ma'am. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, and I do the same. So, or yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just. It's common courtesy. Thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up on this video for fellow spiritual warriors for Christ. Get the message. Yeah, let's let those algorithms know that this message is worth spreading because it's important to talk about this. Like how let's just chat, right? How narcissists take everything personally, and so we're just kind of like examining that, Yeah, and there you go. What I said earlier about when you say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, whatever, it's respectful. Yeah, it is respectful. It's showing respect because you don't know their name, and it is what it is. It's polite. And so, okay, so at work, answering the calls with your first name. Thank you for coming through too. My name is, okay, and how can I help you? Okay, well, and that's fine. So now they're introducing facial recognition cameras in the supermarkets in the UK to make it even more personal. Well, I can tell y'all why they're doing that. I'll tell y'all why they're doing the facial recognition cameras and why that a feature that is available as a safety feature or a screen lock feature on our smartphones. Facial recognition. I want y'all to think about the world stage and the fact that the actors and actresses that wear silicone masks playing certain roles as part of the game of narcissism, at some point, they're going to pass away, right? Well, they need somebody, if that narrative is still gaining traction. Follow me. Stay with me here. A very well-known public figure, like, let's say, a president or something, right? The actual person passes away, but yet the show must go on the world stage, right? So what better way to find the best suitable, the best suitable replacement who can wear that person's silicone mask? Because, right, the facial features have to match in some way. Okay, there's a symmetrical thing here that I can tell you now that that's how, that's the only reason. Well, it's also part of their spying to see who's still playing the game, but facial recognition cameras is more for the potential replacement for one of the actors and actresses on the world stage when one of them needs to pass away, but the show must go on because the narrative is hot, right? They got to recycle that narrative, so that public figure needs to still be alive. You see? So they find somebody. This is why you have a lot of public figures who we find out are not really dead, because they are actors and they have the right facial features to pull off one of those other public figure roles, you see. But the actual actor himself or herself has to pass away. And in order to go and put on that silicone mask to keep that other public figure's role going on the world stage, the show must go on. So that's a big part of what these facial recognition cameras are for. Because I don't put it past the system of narcissism to approach somebody and say, hey, I'll pay you $10,000 to wear this silicone mask and play this role for X amount of time to keep the narrative going. Or $100,000. Because y'all know that a narcissist, a narcissist will do almost anything for that kind of money, right? Chosen one, we don't do that. If anybody ever tried to approach me and ask me to play the role of some actor or actress who's passed away, but the narrative is the show must go on, and they want me to put on a silicone mask, the answer is no. You can't buy me love. No. Alright? Yeah, that's a big no. I'm not going to do it. Because that's deceitful. And we are not, chosen ones, we are not part of that. But that is a big part of it. Oh, I've known that for a while. I said, why do they need all these facial recognition thingies? Exactly. Because at some point, the one who's wearing, the actors who's wearing the silicone mask, they gonna eventually pass away. So then they gonna need a replacement to keep that role going on the world stage. That's why I now know, I remember thinking that before God awakened me and before I realized that that was part of the game of narcissism, I was wondering about some of them players. I was like, how are they still alive? I said, they've been around for how many years now? How old are they? Now we understand why. Because it's an actor or actress wearing silicone masks that keep their role going. Right. Okay, the Amazon song lyric, you can't buy me with your money. Exactly. Okay. And then you could, okay, yeah, okay. Narcissists try to trigger with personal insult. That's another thing, yes, because they themselves are triggered by they take everything personally. So of course insults are going to do that. And then you have a housing officer for this block that calls you Mr. Miller. Okay, that's cool. Hey, that's nice. That's nice. And then okay. Right. You got it. Looking for replacements for the dead actors. Because eventually, right? So facial recognition helped them find a potentially suitable replacement. So it's another form of central casting. And okay, so you saw a YouTube ad recently, and the dude looked like he was wearing a silicone skin. You could see it around the eyes where it didn't quite fit with his real skin around the eyes. See, that's the thing. That's why they need the facial recognition, because there are some people, and I've seen them too, where they're putting on just whatever silicone mask that they want to put on, and it doesn't fit them quite right. And so you can tell that it's a mask. And so in the P matrix, they have to be very careful about that. You see, because if the facial features of the person wearing the silicone mask are not symmetrical to the silicone mask, in other words, if it doesn't fit, I mean, and I can tell you all that I know, okay, of a actress who I could, but I think we're pretty close in age, so there would never be a need for it. But my facial features are very close to Alyssa Milano. So yes, and so our nose may be a little different, but facial features are almost, pretty close. Our face and everything like that, and the smile. So really, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that they would have to find, our eye color is different, of course, but I'm just giving y'all that as an example, that they're looking at the facial recognition, that facial features must be able to fit the silicone mask, like almost to a T, so that it looked real. And because there are a lot of them out here that don't, just anybody, that's why you got to be mindful of that. So when you see these public figures in the P matrix up there giving speeches and stuff like that, and we see the neck moving a certain way, we're like, yeah, that's a silicone mask. So yeah, and that's the one thing they want to avoid, because if we start to catch on to that, right, but a lot of people haven't caught on to that yet, so they want to make sure that whoever it is that they can put up there wearing the silicone mask, that their facial features match as close as possible to the original public figures' facial features. Okay? So there's that. And there's a little bit of forensics involved in that. Have y'all heard, I don't know if you've heard of the forensic facial reconstruction. Okay, well, that's a real thing. When they try to locate a missing person, or they find a skeleton of a person and they take it to the expert who knows how to do that, to do the facial reconstruction. And what that does is it brings whoever that was back to life in a way, so that they can be recognized by family or friends or what have you, or compared to a missing person on the list or whatever. And so the family and whoever may be searching for that person can finally get closure. So that's a real thing. So, you know, and like I said, it's there's a forensic aspect to it all. Heard of the facial reconstruction? Yeah, and it is pretty amazing. It takes a lot of talent to do that, and yeah, so yeah, and we're grateful for that too, because family can get closure. Okay, so but yeah, that's that. And again, I want to thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up. And I'm gonna I gotta take a look at the clock here. Okay, y'all. And that really, unless you guys have any other questions or insights, we can wrap it up there. Take the skull, right? How they're able to take that skull, and then they end up with an actual face that you can see it, and hopefully somebody will recognize it. So yeah, it is very amazing, and that is definitely a talent, and I'm grateful that we have people who have that talent and the gift from God. So there you go. Yeah, everybody, I want y'all to, you know, enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to use CHAA 25, okay? You can use CHAA 25. Again, that's CHAA 25. That's your coupon code for CHA Academy, btbw.com. That link is listed below for quicker access. That takes you to how the trauma bond is formed. Okay, that CHAA 25 gets you 25% off 3 different courses at CHA Academy, btbw.com. And that's 25% off the one-time payment, not the monthly installment. Okay, yeah, so I want to be clear about that. And you can use that code up to 3 times for 3 different courses at CHA Academy, btbw.com. Click on all courses and you'll see everything we have. And make sure you use that coupon code at checkout. I look forward to seeing you in the Academy Forum. Oh yeah, the community forum. All right, where we've got weekly content that we post, fun fact videos, short Bible study videos, and more. Yes, and I'm going to say welcome to our growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.